I'd like to say hello to everyone and welcome back to the fairway. I'll put a little clip of this up on Instagram, and then the whole video will be up on YouTube. I'll try not to make it too long, and I'll try to kind of hone this down to what it is we're trying to do. I have props today. As I mentioned last time, we've got to pick up clubhead speed. And John started to talk to me about how to do it. And we're going to start by trying to uncock my left wrist and straighten my right arm sooner. And so in essence, it's going to be a bit of a cast, and at the bottom, a bit of a flip, which is absolutely everything that I've tried not to do since the time I started taking lessons at 11. I was taught to hold the angle. And when I released it, to release this way. So my knuckles were facing the target. Brand Manzella calls it your wedding ring to the target. Boom, like this. And what in essence happens is that the club head really doesn't pass your hands. Ben Doyle used to, when he'd shake your hand, he'd go, sustain the leg, sustain the leg, sustain this bent right wrist all the way down. Now, in the machine never said to hold it. Ben wanted you to let it go and then let it straighten and then swivel it up. But depending upon how people interpret the machine, it kind of gets winnowed down to this idea of as deep as you can go. So I used to hit balls and look like this. And it's easy for me to do it. I just flip it right up. I'll show it from this side. It looks like this. And there are problems with that. You knock off way too much loft off the face. You have a real hard time controlling distance. I never knew if I was going to hit a 7-iron 140 yards or if I was going to hit it 190 yards. The other issue that I face now is that in that I'm old, I've lost some of my fast twitch muscles, and so I can't attack the ball with my hands way forward because I flat out take too much loft off the club. So that's an issue. So I'm really good at hitting punches, but they don't go more than about 140 yards, and they only get about 30 feet off the ground. So we've got to figure out a way to pick up clubhead speed. And one way to do it is to start this feeling of letting the club out, letting that right arm straighten all the way down until you're in line with your left arm at impact. So you're in line with your left arm at impact, and you're actually going from here to here down at impact. And so now, as I'm releasing it here, I'm trying to recock it on this side as fast as I can. And then as I come up, I really want this butt end pointed just right at second base. I don't want to be over here. I don't want to be going over here. I want it out there. And my right arm's across my chest. And the club shaft is pointed right. That's the first thing, or the second thing, maybe even the third thing. Here's what happened though when I went in to do the editing. I stopped and had a cup of coffee and I was looking at a couple YouTube videos. And I'm not going to mention who it was, and it wasn't who you might think was talking about this, but they were really talking about getting, being deeper sway in your lower back, tilting as you come back and getting a big stretch on your right side. And then as you come down, you are trying to stay, the buttons of your shirt kind of line up with your zipper, and you end up laying the club very flat, shallowed, as they like to say, shallowed, and you're coming in this way. Well, I can't do that. I'm not flexible enough to do that. It hurts my back. Hurts my back to even think about it. So I want to address a couple things. The first thing I'm going to address is I'll demonstrate how I'm trying to let it out. And I have this in here so people don't think I'm getting caught in here. I really am trying to feel my head stays fairly centered, slightly to the right of the ball, and I'm letting my right arm straighten down in front of me. Down, even though, let's just say this, the club's really only on plane from about hip high to hip high. But I've got to get back down to this line. I got to get back down to this target line, to this plane line at the bottom. And I have to, even though it's coming in from the inside, I need to feel like I'm back down here so I can let my arms keep going and turn through the shot. Now, and I'll demonstrate one. I'm only going to take it back to, and I'll use the P system here. I'm only going to take it back to P3, and then I'm going to try to straighten my right wrist as I'm straightening my right arm, and I get this position past the ball, and then I want to recock it. So here we go. I'll do now, my timing is off. So I thin one, I might hit one a little fat. I've hit some really good ones, but I'm still working on the basic motion. So again, I'm here, and I want to feel this. So now, the reason I have this in is I want to talk a little bit about what's happening with your hips and shoulders. So I'll use the golf club for my shoulder line, kind of represent it. It's not quite accurate, but it's close. So at address, I have slight axis tilt because I sort of set myself up at impact. Now, when I set myself up, from my perspective, my hands appear to be right over my left toe. I have a hard time taking it back from this position. I have a tendency to snatch it inside, and I don't want to do that, so I try to push it down the line, and I start going laterally. So it's hard for me to do that. So I stole something from Mo Norman, and it took me a while to get used to it, but it makes sense to me, is that I start the club head about, I don't know, about 12 inches behind the ball. I'd like to say that I start with my hands centered, but they're really not. They're really just a little behind center, to the right of center for me. So here's my address. I start the club right about here, and I basically set it on the target line, or close to the target line. And from here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my hips and my shoulders together. And I'm going to turn my shoulders flat, basically flat. I'm inclined forward, so there's going to be a slight rise to my shoulders. So, slight dip to my right shoulder. My right shoulder, or left shoulder, goes down. But everything's going to go together. And then you'll see my hips stop and my shoulders go a little bit farther. This is for full swing. So it's here, and I go here. So my hips are about 45 degrees. My shoulders are about 40, maybe 35. And now as I start down, I'll keep this separation as I start down. And as I start getting into here, my hips are then square. I'm still inclined to the ball, and I'm still working down. At impact, my shoulders will be square, maybe slightly open. My hips will be open, but not much, about 30 degrees. No, not even about that. They're more like about 15 degrees open. And then, and here's the key, my left hip begins to slow down. And my shoulders begin to catch up to my hips. And then my shoulders will pass my hips. And my hands will pull up in front of me. Now, and then I'll get off my right side. So, as my hips slow down, my shoulders begin to slow down. As my shoulders begin to slow down, as my right leg or left leg begins to straighten, my hands begin to slow down, and the club slings through. That's the idea. That's what we're trying to do. It's a lot like, I'll pull out my next prop. It's a lot like cracking a whip. So I'm holding the buggy whip, kind of like I have my right hand on the golf club. And the tip goes sailing through. As I begin to stop my hands, as my hands begin to slow down, the whip begins to bend this way, forward flexion, boom, 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 like that. So that's sort of what's trying to happen down here at the ball. So the other, and it's doing a number of things. It's letting the club head speed up through the ball. It's allowing me a little extra loft on the club to accommodate my slow clubhead speed. And hopefully, if I keep practicing and practicing, I'll pick up a little clubhead speed simply by doing it. And then John's given me some exercises, and I've looked for some more exercises to try to gain a little bit more shoulder turn in my backswing for my shoulders. Just a little bit more shoulder turn. Not a lot, but a little. And it's hard for me to get that. I haven't done it for so long. And then to really feel the arms sailing through. And in essence, passing my body. That one was timing. I just cut the ball in half. I'm still not patient enough to stay down and through the shot long enough. I still want to help it with my body. And I also haven't demonstrated in like 30 years for people. So I'm a little nervous. Even that was hurried. My body hurried through it. I actually have to feel my arms go. So let me see if I can get one in here where I feel like my arms really went. That was better. You probably can't see any difference on the video, which is one of the problems with video. That's an issue with video. You can't really tell what's happening. I did some practicing this morning. I hit about 100 balls, and on flight scope from 9 o'clock, which is P3, which is where I'm really kind of working on this, and I'm doing it two ways. I'm doing it one way, and what I'm trying to do is I hit a couple easily, so I can really feel my arms sail through. And then I try to pick a couple up and try to hit them harder. That was easy, and that felt like I came through faster. Normally I'm measuring everything. And then, so here's one where I'll swing at it a little bit harder from P3. So, the last thing I wanted to say and talk about real quick is when I went in to edit the other video, I made the mistake of jumping on YouTube and just started going through things. And as I said, I saw these other things, and I realized how discerning you really have to be when you're looking at this stuff. If you start looking at something and it's not what you're trying to do with your body and your arms and hands, you've got to kind of ignore it. You've got to let it go, because if you, they used to call it rabbit ears. If you get rabbit ears and start looking at everything, you'll, at least for me, it causes a little angst. You know, how should I do what? Am I doing the right thing? Am I going to get there? Is this going to be right? How long do I need to do? You just got to put the time in, hit the balls, feel your arms sail through, and try not to listen to all these other people while you're working on something. Now, you don't need to work on what I'm working on. I'm just trying to say, no matter what it is you're trying to do, you need to be discerning. So if you have someone and you're working on trying to get like this, then that's what you need to watch. If you find somebody who starts telling you to let it go from the top, that's going to confuse the whole situation. Now, I know most people are smart and they don't need somebody to tell them this, but I think when you're kind of looking and searching, you become almost willing to try anything. I think trying something is good. I think having somebody there to kind of show you down the path, to keep you from going off on these tangents, is better. So, I'm going to start, I'll dope out some things that I'm trying to follow in my golf swing, and just to remind myself, don't go down that path. Don't try to shallow. Don't strap your arms together. Don't get your, don't let that elbow fly. All these different things. There's no reason you can't let your elbow go out, as long as you know what to do from when your elbow does go out. There are a lot of people that swing like this, and they're able to bring it back down and deliver it just fine. So, again, you have to be discerning and stay to what it is you're trying to do. So, that's my rant for the day. I'm sorry. I hope it's not too preachy. I don't want to be that. I just want to say, be careful, because there's a lot of different things to look at out there. And you need somebody to help you stay focused. So, thanks for coming to the channel. Thanks for looking at Instagram. All the people that signed up for Instagram or are following me, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm going to do a quick video tomorrow about the big golf towel. It's really the thing that allows me to do this. It's just a basic golf towel, though, really quick. It's just a golf towel, and the neat thing about it is you can get one end of it soaking wet, wring it out. There's a hole in the middle that you can hang it on your bag over a club, but the other end will stay dry. The water won't wick through the towel. So by the time you get to the 6th hole, your whole towel isn't wet. You still have a dry side to wipe your hands off, dry your grips. You can wash your balls, keep your rocks clean with your big golf towel. So I'll do that tomorrow. You guys take care. Thank you so much for stopping by.